Okay, so there's a whole new generation clocking in for their first day of work. You know the ones. They've pretty much had a smartphone in their hands since they could walk, and the internet has always just been there. We call them Generation Z, and they're not just fetching coffee anymore. They're quickly becoming the future of our entire workforce. So what exactly is that future going to look like?
But who are they really? I mean, beyond all the buzzwords and the stereotypes you see online, what actually defines this group that's already starting to shake up our offices and our workflows? Let's dig in and see what the research actually tells us.
So let's start at the very beginning. Who even is Generation Z? Now, you'd think that would be a super simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it's surprisingly tricky.
Right off the bat, you can see there is no clear consensus here. Researchers, consulting firms, they all use these wildly different date ranges. Some start in the early 90s, some not until after the year 2000. But here's the key thing to take away from this. Pretty much everyone agrees that the starting point is somewhere after 1995. And what that really means is that this entire generation grew up in a world that was already digital from day one. And it's not just their birth years that are all over the place. They've been given a ton of different names, everything from Zoomers to the I generation. But notice that common thread running through a lot of them? You see digital natives, Gen Tech, Generation C, that's C for connected. Almost every single nickname points right back to the one thing that truly, truly defines them, their relationship with technology. And that brings us right to the core of what makes Gen Z tick. You just can't understand who they are without first understanding their digital world. Because for them, technology isn't some tool they had to learn how to use, it's the environment they were literally born into. The official term for this is digital natives, and think about what that means. For older generations, there was a clear before and after moment with the internet. We remember dial-up modems, or a time before social media even existed. But for Gen Z, there was no transition. They've only ever known a world with instant information, with smartphones, with constant, always-on connectivity. This isn't just a small difference. It fundamentally shapes everything about them. So this digital-first upbringing really has three major consequences for how they operate in the world. First, they live in a state of constant connection. They're used to sharing and getting information in the blink of an eye. Second, that creates a real craving for speed. I mean, if you can video chat with a friend on the other side of the planet instantly, why should an internal company process take days? And third, they are overwhelmingly visual communicators. Why read a long, dense manual when you can just watch a 2-minute video that explains it all? Okay, so how does all of this digital-first mindset, translate into the workplace? Well, this is where we start to see some really fascinating contradictions pop up. These kinds of dualities that make this generation so unique, so powerful, and sometimes a little challenging to manage. So on one hand, study after study shows they're highly individualistic. They're really focused on personal benefits, on their own autonomy, on self-improvement. But, and this is a big but, at the exact same time, they absolutely crave and thrive in collaborative settings. So they want the freedom to do their own thing, but they want to do it inside a team where they can connect and create with other people. It's a real paradox. And here's another one for you. They have this powerful entrepreneurial spirit, a real do-it-yourself attitude that makes them incredibly ambitious and self-starting. And yet, they absolutely do not want to be left alone in the dark. They have a really strong need for monitoring, for mentorship, and especially for frequent feedback from their managers so they know they're heading in the right direction. And of course, we got to talk about the multitasking debate. As true digital natives, they are masters at juggling a dozen different information streams at once. But the research suggests this can be a bit of a double-edged sword. That hyper-connected world can also lead to more frequent breaks and can make deep, focused work a real challenge, which is definitely something managers need to keep in mind. Now, here's something that might be the biggest shift of all. More than any generation that's come before them, Gen Z's career choices are driven by a really deep set of values. Values that go way beyond just a salary and a job title. They're looking for work that truly aligns with their personal ethics. Just think about this number for a second. 77%. According to one major study, that's the percentage of Gen Z members who say that social activism is a core value for them. This isn't just a side hobby. For a huge number of them, it's a fundamental part of their identity. And really, there's no better public example of this than Greta Thunberg. As researchers Bulut Maraba put it, she perfectly embodies this generation's high level of social awareness, their courage, and their willingness to step up and take responsibility for massive global issues like climate change. And trust me, that mindset doesn't get left at the door when they walk into the office. So the big takeaway here is that Gen Z is actively screening their employers. It's not a one-way street anymore. They expect, no, they demand a workplace that truly champions diversity and inclusion. They're going to scrutinize a company's ethics and its environmental record. And while all that purpose is key, they're also incredibly pragmatic. They want a healthy work-life balance and real financial stability through good benefits like healthcare and retirement plans.
So, let's pull all this together. What does this all mean for the future of work? The arrival of Gen Z isn't just about adding a younger demographic to the team photo. It's really about a fundamental shift in how our workplaces operate and what we expect from them.
For managers and companies out there, the path forward is actually pretty clear. If you want to attract and keep this incredible new talent, you have to provide that constant, clear feedback they're looking for. You've got to build an environment that is both flexible and collaborative. Honesty and ethics can't just be buzzwords on a mission statement. You have to actually live them. And finally, you have to create very clear pathways for them to grow and develop their skills.
And all of this leaves us with one last, big question to think about. As millions and millions more from this generation enter our companies, who is really changing whom? Are our traditional corporate structures going to mold these digital natives into something new? Or are their values, their habits, and their expectations fundamentally going to reshape what it even means to have a job in the 21st century? The answer is probably a little bit of both. And it's a transformation that is happening all around us right now.